Welcome everybody to a look at another Halloween Spotlight film, and this is a new release from Warner Brothers Archive Collection, and it is 1945's Isle of the Dead. So yeah, this was released today alongside another film called Children of the Damned, which we'll get a review in its own right at some point. And it's directed by Mark Robson, who I've seen at least two other films that have been released by Warner Brothers in this archive collection. They also did The Ghost Ship and Bedlam, but I've seen four of his other films, so yeah, it's now 7 films in total. So this is a mix of horror and drama. It clocks in at 71 minutes long. Stars Boris Karloff. Now, this is the 42nd film that I've seen from him, and I own probably about half of those. So, yeah, seen a huge number of his films. Massive fan of his, so he is the main reason why I bought this film. It also stars Ellen Drew, who's in the likes of The Baron of Arizona, alongside Vincent Price, Johnny O'Clock, which is a film noir, and The Monster and the Girl, which is kind of like a B-movie horror film from the early 40s. And it also stars Alan Napier, who was in the likes of The Uninvited, The Mole People, House of Horrors, and The Strange Door. So this is set on a Greek island during the 1912 war. Several people are trapped by quarantine for the plague. If that isn't enough worry, one of the people, a superstitious old peasant, suspects a young woman of being a vampiric demon. So overall, this is effective in both of its genres, especially with the different types of horror it depicts, be it the horror of war, disease, premature burial, and even murder. Boris Karloff is great in the lead role. The supporting cast is good. It is well paced, doesn't outstay its welcome. The cinematography is executed effectively. The score is decent and the production is solid, especially when it comes to the island itself, but also the bit at the beginning where you see the after effects of a recent battle. You know, you got all of these corpses and this desolate wasteland that's been bombed to within an inch of its life, and it's really good in terms of production in that regard. And yeah, the only real issue I have with this film is the poster, which clearly has Boris Karloff with a knife. Doesn't use a knife, not once. That's a little bit of a misrepresentation or representation of what Boris Karloff is as a character, because he's a lot more of a complex character in this film than he has been was in his Universal Horror days. As you can perfectly see the way that why he's coming across the way he is, because he doesn't want this plague infecting his troops, because if they're infected, their battle response times, their effectiveness in a battle would obviously be reduced, and he'd end up losing all of the ground he's made up at the start of the film. Because at the start of the film, you can see that even though they've lost heavily in terms of men, the enemy is in retreat, and yeah, this plague would just undo all of that. So you can totally see why he reacts the way he does when it comes apparent that these people on this island have the plague, and he doesn't want them getting off of the island. So yeah, fully a really, really good characterization on his part. And even though the characterization for the other characters isn't particularly in depth, his character is really, really well done. And like I said, it's got some horror aspects to it that probably weren't popular at the time given the worldwide events. For instance, the horror of war, probably not going to be a popular kind of theme for 1945, given World War II and all that. So, but yeah, still, it's really commendable that they went for such a brave, thematic aspect to it, because they could have just cut out all of the war stuff and just had it as, this plague on an island. We don't want people off so it doesn't spread to other people. Could have just been that, and yet it wasn't the case. Transfer wise, looks really, really good in terms of its Blu-ray transfer. And it's got a couple of extras on it. You've got a commentary by screenwriter, film historian Dr. Steve Haberman, and you've also got the original theatrical trailer with Spanish subtitles. Not sure why it's got Spanish subtitles. Maybe it's the only trailer they could actually find. But still, really, really good film. Another gem that has been seemingly hidden in terms of physical releases from Boris Karloff. So yeah, this is going to go nicely along all the other Boris Karloff films that I've got, be they from Eureka or the Warner Brothers Archive collection itself. So yeah, this will sit nicely alongside Bedlam, which I really enjoyed as well. So yeah, 4 out of 5. And yeah, if you've seen this one before, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. But if you haven't and you're into your classic 40s horror, then I do recommend it. Nonetheless, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.